Welcome. This is Crime Queen. And if you have joined us for the first time, this is the channel where we are having fun with words and numbers, numerology to be precise. We are on this journey of actualizing soulful love. This is where we are. Of course, having fun, lots of fun in exploring here these dots, which we are. This was a revelation given to me that the dots here, which we are, is really that. We call it that. In biblical terms, I think it could be seen as it, because there's references and to God, or when God saw, or it was lovely, or it was good. That it is 11. So everything God did, he saw it was good, and that would be including ourselves. So there we see this 11. It transpires in our makeup as the word Jesus, which is a master number. So basically, we have learned, and going through all these presentations, we see ourselves as the whole. In the whole as that God created us on the sixth day, meaning we entail of everything that has been created even before we came into being. That is part of our makeup. And on the seventh day he rested. But we also see that when we go further on, further into the start of creation, and the it that would have been spoken of, we are part of that it. So it would be 9. 9, the first letter is I, which equals 9, and T equals 2. So we see 9 and 2 is 11, and hence Jesus came, of course, the Emmanuel. He was meant to be called Emmanuel, or we can still call him Emmanuel. Was it, and that meant we it as well. It's like someone says, oh, you really think you're it? Yes, we are it. Okay, so there we are, this it. This really is showing the I am. This is the I that is being illuminated. This is I. And the I am, this is A, and the M in here, which is formed like our nostrils, M. And this is the mouth hair, which also equals 5. We see 5 has evolved, and perhaps it's where we have been focused, because all the numbers have really been showing, and I have been seeing like the numbers have been really transpiring. Every number has showed very, very significantly in our template of the word sacrifice. But it's that we are always, as human beings, seeking a formula, or seeking, wanting to get answers. It's really getting to understand ourselves more. It's all about understanding ourselves more. It's all about understanding the world around us, of course, and the world inside us. So there we are. I have this understanding that when we get the essence of what happens in two, wherever we are, whether it was in an agreement, whether it's a situation, whether it's in a family setting, whatever happens there is very vital to what happens in the 7. In 7, so here we are talking about the it, the IT, which equals 11. 1 and 1, 2. That is the source. It becomes the start of that which we are, and gives us, and it also gives us very deep, profound insights to our makeup. I'm going to use this moment to really explore that the number 5, how we have seen it, part of that it. I have been doing this, showing how Eve had been part of that force from creation, where God looked upon the face of the waters, and it, of the face of the deep. The face of the deep. In fact, I have done deep before. Let's just do it again. DEEP 7554. That's 12 and 5, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So deep is 21. This is it here. 5 and that's 7 and 5. So this is 10, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So we see 21 has transpired here again just as it did in Sarah. Now the name Sarah, Sarai, before it was Sarah, equal 21. So 21 we see also equals woman, also equals bread, as in the Last Supper, bread and blood. We see that it equals blood as well. And we know in our life, if we don't have blood, we don't have life really. So, and there, of course, the blood has to move because that's why the free is shaped in that way so it can move. It's waves, it's that vibration. Vibrations actually is three. So wave, oh, I've just said wave when I meant to say three. So let's look at wave. This is 5 and 4 and 1 and 5. So 5 and 10, so that's 15. 15 is 6. So here we see I'm talking about 3, and the way the word wave came in, so it's like saying that's double waves. So hence Christ always talked about believe, because the word believe constitute of 33, and 33, 3 and 3 is 6. So it's like saying that's the wave. We are getting the direct correlation of that 6 wave, that 6 numerical value for wave right here. However, we also have, although it's wave, it's like we also have motion. Motion actually is something, okay, we could see there are waves, but there's motion that perhaps does not have any specific direction, because it's just motion. But we were talking, the word motion came into play when we talked about God, and he looked upon the face of the deep, and he saw that on the face of the deep, so there was a reflection. We are saying there was a reflection, and there was motion, and the Spirit of God moved. So the Spirit, which is one, and moved, when that added, that Spirit, which is 10, moved onto moved, that would be 1 and 5 would be 6, because moved equals yes, moved equals 5. I'm just thinking of move. What would it mean? MOVE. Well, it would mean 1. Okay, so let's see MOVE. So that would be 5, 4, 6, and 4. So that would be 19, 1 and 9, 10. So that would be, this is what I'm saying here again, and nothing comes into your consciousness. Two things have to really come together. So it move, meaning the spirit and the move equal to. This is where the IT, we are coming closer to what actually seem to, let's say, what actually happened. We are coming closer, moving away from the rib that was in Adam and taken out of Adam, but let's go into Genesis of maybe chapter 1, verse 2, thereabout, and because that's where that's where we are getting into the nitty-gritty of the essence of our existence. So we see move, spirit move. Move was 1, spirit was 1, or 10 and 10. So spirit is 10, move is 10. There was an activation happening. The two came together and formed 20. Let's put it this way. So there was 2. I am glad to see this 2 here now, because then that takes me back to the story of Abraham and Sarah, where I was trying to understand, well, why is it that she was then 21 in Sarai, and towards changing the name, she became 20. So these 2 this 20 now tells me that it's like a new cycle is beginning, which I felt that was what was happening too. But when it is 2, it's that there is another cycle, there is another bond, another agreement. Something has been weaned off, wind of the bread or the breast. The child has been weaned, and which we understand that Sarah, that was done too in that story. So it was weaned of the breast, and so there is another cycle happening when there is 2. And we understand with 2 now. Now we are getting a better or deeper insight when this 2 comes into harmony. This is where a lot of things happen in this basket of bread, the bee here, the bee that forms the 13. If you're new to this channel, this is what 2 happens when 2 get together here. This 2, one of course with the wave, there's perhaps you could say like a piece of steel, and then there is a vibration of heat that can shape it, take it into any shape, and that's what happens. So one would be steel and one would be of a certain shape like this. So instead of it being 13, then it becomes that bee like a creature as well. It becomes that bee, but that bee can form so much. Doesn't it work really hard to really, for the queen bee and produce so much honey? And, a lot, what happens when there is honey? Of course, people come in because everyone wants to taste that honey. And so there it becomes like the beehive. Some lose their life in the process, but however, it doesn't matter. It seems like it doesn't matter. There is an understanding or agreement that takes place there with the honey saying, look, with the bees saying, I'm ready to die for this purpose. It doesn't matter, and that's what happens in 2. So we see a lot of those things, and hence we get into the story further down the line with Eve and the serpent, where the serpent said to Eve, and it's like what God said, and Eve said, well, God said, if you eat of the fruit of knowledge, you shall surely die. The fruit of good and evil, whichever one of those you'd use, you shall surely die. So it could be perceived that she was saying that exactly or directly to the serpent. God said, if you do this, you shall surely die. And the serpent turns around and says, yes, but if you do this, you shall not surely die. Because why? He knew that she should not surely die, because she's the mother of all living. And this is what we learn from Adam, and Adam knew that. How did he know that? Of course, God would have told him, oh, don't you know your mother? In any case, wouldn't you know? Of course you would. So this is where we have also had this storyline. I am saying there would have had to be 2 parts of this story of the mother and the mother of mothers, or the mother of all living. And of course, the mother of all living, or the mother, still carries on the mother's name, because of course this is what happens. This is what we do. If your name is John Black, your son grows on to be John Black. We see that Martin Martin Luther King, or Martin Luther King Jr., or we see those happen. Just to have specifics on that, we probably add the J, which is where the jazz period comes in. But this is the essence of what we are learning here. We are saying that in all of that, there was number 5. We see how number 2 has come together. The Spirit of God move. That was move. But that is concealed in moved, where there would be an additional 4 aspect to this. Of an additional 4, it's like that 2 had multiplied 3 times. Let's put it this way. And so we see that 5 had come into play, because waters is 5. 5 really connected with 5, with the word moved. That was waters. Or we could say whatever else that was with water and added to waters, but we see that there was a division of waters. Let and egg, God said, let the waters, and the word let actually is, I believe, 8, Let, 2, 5, that's 7 and 3. 7 and 3 is 10. So the word let would be again like a magician or a scientist having everything in his at his disposal to choose. And there's not a question of right and wrong, but it's let. Let is really the essence of all there is, and to choose, and this is what we create with. It's like whether you wanted a pound of sugar or 2 pounds of flours to bake, and that is what, according to what you are creating, that's what it is. Okay, so I'm hoping I wanted to bring in a new aspect of this, because the things I have mentioned here are things that have been talked about. I'm just going over this. We looked at the word motion and we see it's also 5. We looked at the word emotion. I'm not sure I had done emotion. So emotion, I hadn't done emotion. So this is 22. We do 22 for TION, and this is 5 and 4 and 6. So this is 15. Emo is 15, so equals 6. 6 and 22 is 28. So emotion is really 10. So there we are. This is emotion would also coincide with the Spirit of God. Okay, so I hope you have enjoyed this. I hope you have found it fun. I'm still endeavoring to cover Sarah and the story of Sarah and her husband, and to really show how those story of Eve and Adam are still one and the same. I have done a few of those before, but I believe it needs further exploration. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining us. If you have enjoyed this presentation, click the like button and share, because this is how we do it. We share to actualizing self-full love. In the meantime, stay blessed, stay bright and blissful, and be a field, because we are planting new seeds. Okay, namaste, and spill over with love.